You're listening to a production of the National Media Archive. To learn more or volunteer, go to nationalmediaarchive.com.
A maximum security institution in Singapore, mostly single-man cells, strict routines. Inmates here often have long sentences or histories of violence, each housed alone to prevent conflict. The cells are Spartan, not cruel, but stripped to essentials: walls, a bedroll, and silence. The kind of silence that crawls inside and settles deep. Every morning starts early. Around 4 or 5 a.m, wake up. Nothing to do. Try sleeping again until the light comes on. Then it's time to get moving. Toothbrush. Wash up. Walk back to the sleeping area. Maybe read. Maybe walk back and forth across the cell. 7 steps one way, 5 across. Just pacing, killing time. At 7 a.m, mindfulness begins. Inmates gather their thoughts. After that, morning master check. Officers do a full head count. If the housing unit has 150 inmates, they count 150. Not just eyes on, each one has to respond. Confirmation they're awake, alert, not sick. Bravo, total present, 41. Check done. Then the flap opens, their first real view since lockdown the night before. Shaving happens next, inside the cell. Razors are handed in and taken back within 10 minutes, no delays. Breakfast arrives at 7:45 a.m. 4 slices of bread pass through the hatch. Bread, coffee, tea, that's it. Then the hatch closes again. The central kitchen runs like a factory. 8,000 meals daily, lunch, dinner, all handled by inmates, under supervision. Vegetables prepped in bulk, tools tied down with chains. Inmates are screened. Only those with the right mindset are assigned to high-risk areas. Even chopping vegetables takes trust. Airport chefs from Singapore Airport Terminal Services train the kitchen teams. It's serious work. Nutritional needs have to be met. Special diets are provided. No meat, low sugar, non-spicy, low purine. Diabetic inmates get the right food. Even protein and vegetable intake is monitored. Mondays might mean baked chicken. Tuesdays, fish. But when the food reaches the cells, it's cold. The texture? Often hard. One inmate rates it as 0 out of 10. Harsh, but honest. Back when crime paid, meals were in restaurants every day. Now it's bread and boiled rice. Lunch often lacks meat. Dinner brings either 2 pieces of chicken or fish. Hunger remains. Eventually, the body adapts. But the craving for outside food never really goes away. Inside B1, there's no hiding from the structure. Cells are one man. Doors have small viewing panels and 2 apertures, one for sight, one for passing items. Officers don't speak through them directly. Too risky. An inmate could throw something or grab. Each cell is laid out according to a printed diagram. Items must be placed exactly as shown. Toothbrush, toothpaste, soap box, drinking cup, transparent containers only. Nothing hidden. Even the toothbrush is shortened to prevent it from becoming a weapon. Blankets double as mattresses. 1 sleeping mat, 1 hard floor. Make it work. Toilets and showers are inside the cells, always under camera surveillance. Night vision included. Privacy? Not a thing. The space is small, psychologically tight. For 48 hours over weekends, the confinement hits hard. No movement, no contact, just 4 walls and time. The sense of loss doesn't end with freedom. One inmate used to be a fitness trainer. Lived large, luxury lifestyle, cars, houses, all checked off before hitting 30. But that was before. The arrest came from trespassing into an electrical authority compound high on drugs, found with paraphernalia charged for consumption and possession. 3 years in total, plus 4 months stacked on top. Inside, small things become big deals. The blanket? Essential. Folded just right, it becomes a makeshift pillow. The soap? Dry, tasteless. Made in China. 1 bar lasts over a year. Toothpaste? Transparent, so nothing can be hidden in it. Spoon? Plastic. Dull, but used for everything. Incentives matter. Good behavior earns work assignments. Work brings allowance. Allowance buys extras like better soap. A clean cell, a warm drink. Small wins, but they keep the mind moving forward. One inmate counting down to release stockpiles items like candy. A ritual. 1 treat each night to mark a day down. 50 days left. The goal? Make it to January 21st clean. But good behavior doesn't always mean good citizenship. The correctional officers know this. Some inmates toe the line inside, then reoffend within months of release. The system's challenge is helping them walk out and not come back. That includes random cell checks. Officers knock. Inmates must declare any items. Shoes stay on. It's a search. This is regulation, not a surprise. Contraband includes excessive possessions or modified objects, even homemade hooks made from rice glue and paper, hidden behind air vents or in the holes in the walls. Straws coiled into secret strings. It sounds like nothing. But to officers, it's a safety risk for staff and inmates alike. One inmate had been crafting origami. Neat, harmless, but still not allowed. Not on the approved list. Too easy to conceal messages or worse, weapon parts. Even extra hooks break the rules. Cells are limited to 3, 2 in the living area, 1 in the bathroom. Anything else, confiscated. Warnings are given. Repeated offences mean disciplinary action. Infractions go on record. There's an informal resolution system, a sort of written contract that says, mess up again in 6 months and the punishment gets worse. No trial, no debate, just accountability. Punishments vary. Minor ones can mean confinement in punishment cells or a delay in the release date, from 3 to 7 days. Major violations, those get caning. No warning, no installments, just raw consequences. One inmate, 21 strokes, all for weapon possession. A samurai sword, a dagger, a bread knife. Different weapons for different reasons. Revenge, paranoia, protection. Caning is brutal. No screaming allowed. No fainting. No showing weakness. That's the rule. No painkillers are requested, ever. Post-caning care includes disinfecting minor wounds. Surface level only. No deep cuts, but pride and silence often go untreated. The only break from the cell is yard time, 2 hours twice a week. That's when the body breathes again. High-intensity workouts, jogging, push-ups, sit-ups, no equipment allowed, no bench presses, no crossing the red line painted on the ground. Officers watch closely, eyes always moving. Nothing can go wrong in that open space. Inside the art hub, some inmates express through drawing, carpentry, beadwork. Creative outlets with limits. Even art supplies are monitored. Pencils, erasers, paper, all controlled. Photos from home, earned by points. 20 points a month if conduct stays clean. It takes 60 to redeem one photo. One inmate waited 3 months to earn a photo of his wife. Married in 2008, she stayed. Even visited while pregnant. Never missed a visit except for childbirth and a daughter's medical checkup. Before prison, life was lavish. Money showed love. Designer bags, daily outings, comfort. But drugs pulled it all apart. Once inside, luxury disappears. Control shifts. Even the smallest object becomes restricted, monitored, tracked, often confiscated. An inmate shows off what's left, drawings without official approval. No prison stamp, no permission. Taken away. Even artwork becomes contraband. The logic, it could be used to send messages to others in the housing unit or even across different blocks. Anything unauthorized creates risk. That includes plastic, paper, strings, even staples. No staplers allowed. The metal can be used for tattoos. And tattoos aren't just art in here. They're gang symbols, identifiers, power statements. Tattooing in prison is banned. But that doesn't stop it. How it's done? Improvised. A small sharp object, maybe a paper staple, hidden from view. A string tied to the end of the staple, then dipped in ink, often made from burned materials or pen ink. The string is pulled, creating enough tension to jab the skin repeatedly. Inmates use diarrhea medication to numb the skin. Tattooing happens in blind spots. Back turned to the CCTV, a book propped up to block the view. But it's dangerous. Infections are common, swollen hands, raw skin, no medical-grade tools, no hygiene protocols, just risk. And it's not just health at stake. Tattoos can connect to gang affiliation, secret codes, symbols, status markers. They undermine order, create tension, provoke violence. Officers watch for them. One inmate had a fresh tattoo, caught. Punishment followed, release delayed by 21 days. 4 strokes of the cane. No excuses. Contraband and tattooing aren't the only issues. Weapons get smuggled in too. In one case, an inmate admitted to having 3 different weapons on 3 separate occasions. First, a samurai sword used in an attempt to intimidate someone over a personal dispute. Second, a dagger, carried out of paranoia. Third, a bread knife for protection. All 3 never used. But intent mattered. Arrest followed, sentences extended, caning enforced. Caning isn't symbolic, it's physical. No way around it. It leaves marks on skin, on psyche. But after, there's medical care, bandaging, cleaning. Still, no one asks for painkillers. Not because it doesn't hurt, but because showing pain is weakness. In the inmate code, pain is absorbed in silence. For some, the only relief comes in the yard. 2 hours of air twice a week, push-ups, sit-ups, jogging in place. The only outlet for energy. But rules still apply. No benches, no leaning, no improvising, just move and follow orders. Some use that time to train, build endurance, or just breathe a little freer. Others push boundaries, trying to stretch the limits, only to get warned or pulled back in line. Then there's the visual arts hub, a space to draw, to create, to reflect. For some it's an escape, a coping mechanism. One inmate draws a portrait of his wife, pencil only. Photos are rare, earned through good behaviour points. One photo costs 60 points. That's 3 months of perfect conduct, no warnings, no violations. And for many, that photo is everything. Back outside the art room, memories resurface. Lavish pasts, designer brands, a lifestyle built on easy money. No one asked questions then. Money came in and problems were ignored until the fall, until drugs, until prison. Inside, routine replaces freedom. Silence replaces choices. And even the smallest mistake, a hidden hook, a piece of string, a scrap of paper, has consequences. Cell inspections are daily, random, thorough. Officers knock, enter, search. Inmates declare what they have. If they lie, consequences follow. One cell check uncovers hidden hooks, extra straws, improvised items. Nothing lethal but all banned. Even small rule breaking gets logged. The inmate gets a warning. One more infraction and punishment escalates. Why so strict? Equality. Every inmate lives under the same conditions. No special treatment. If someone has extra items, it throws off the balance. Officers have to keep the playing field level. The inspections are detailed, knocking on walls, flushing toilets, checking under pipes. Inmates get creative, hiding things inside toilet bowls, under sink covers, even taping items behind signs. No space is considered safe from smuggling. Sometimes it's medication, hoarded, traded, or misused. Other times, it's string turned into contraband for grooming or tattoos. Even harmless-looking items like straws or scraps of paper can turn dangerous. Every piece has a potential use, and officers have seen all of it. After the inspection, inmates must clean their cells from scratch. It's not just about discipline. It's psychological. That cell is their world. Any disruption is deeply felt. Even emotional routines are policed. An inmate explains how he crafted a hook out of rice glue and paper just to hang a towel. Not allowed. Removed warning issued. Adaptation required. Officers handle it calmly, but with authority. The message is clear. Next time it won't just be a warning. Repeat offences land on record via the informal resolution system. The system logs the misconduct, gets the inmate's signature acknowledging it, and gives a 6-month period to avoid repeating the mistake. Otherwise, penalties escalate fast. Punishments aren't empty threats. Minor violations lead to confinement in punishment cells. 7 days, no books, no visitors, no breaks. Major violations mean caning or extended sentences, or if serious enough, a police referral. One officer explains it plainly. Improvised hooks, strings, tattoo tools, all banned. Even art like origami, if unapproved, gets confiscated. The rules seem small, but the goal is big. 0 tolerance for security breaches. Anything that could be used to hurt, signal, or smuggle is out. Inmates adapt, but some don't. Some push boundaries. Tattoo needles made from metal shards, ink made from burned plastic, medication misused to dull pain, and every single method is invented inside these walls. One inmate explains it bluntly. Staple bullets from magazines, string from mop heads, ink from carbon paper, numb the area with diarrhea meds, sit with back to CCTV, use a book to block the angle. Then puncture the skin. It's a cultural code, a way to show gang loyalty, to prove toughness. But it comes with a price: infections, scarring, and punishment. One inmate was caught fresh, still healing, his sentence extended, and 4 strokes of the cane added. No appeal, no delay. He shrugs it off. This is part of our gang culture, he says, but the consequences are real. 21 strokes, 3 separate occasions, 3 different weapons, 1 future hanging in the balance. What follows the punishment isn't just time, it's pain, control, and relentless routine. Post-caning, inmates go straight into basic wound care. A nurse cleans the injuries, surface abrasions, not deep cuts, no profuse bleeding, but it still hurts. Most inmates don't ask for painkillers, not because they don't need them, but because asking shows weakness, and weakness isn't allowed. Not in here, especially not among those affiliated with gangs. They walk straight after caning, hold their composure. Some cry, quietly, others bite down hard. Either way, it's done. No installment, 1 session, all strokes delivered. Outside that punishment room, the rest of prison life doesn't stop. The yard's still open twice a week. Inmates stretch, train, breathe a little. They move smartly, no bench pressing, no climbing, no improvising. Officers watch for every line crossed, push-ups, sit-ups, jogging, all body weight, no equipment. Just what the human body can do in a bare space with no tools. It's not about fitness, it's about survival. The yard is freedom, limited, brief, but valued. Even if the air's hot and the sun is sharp, it's better than the cell. It's space, which is rare here. Supervising the yard is high risk. Officers are alert, always watching. One slip, one fight, one missed signal, and it turns fast. Back inside, discipline returns. Strict, constant. Inmates like structure, not always at first. But over time, some find rhythm. Visual Arts Hub is one of the only places inside that allows a kind of expression. Here, inmates can draw, paint, build, create. One draws a photo of his wife, just a pencil, no colour, no extras. Photos from the outside cost points, 60 to be exact. Points earned through perfect behaviour over 3 months, 1 point per day. One infraction and the clock resets. That photo, it's a lifeline, proof that someone's waiting, still holding on. One inmate talks about his wife, married in 2008. 1 year later, prison. She stayed, visited, never missed an appointment, except when giving birth and once for a daughter's checkup. Before this, life was rich. Bags from luxury brands, fancy meals. Money came easy, and love was shown through spending. But drugs wrecked it. Slowly, then all at once. Everything he built vanished. What's left now is routine, regret, and the hope that when the gates open, she'll still be there. Inside these walls, routines are rigid. Beds get made the same way every day. Cells are checked, meals are portioned, contraband is confiscated. But outside, life isn't as structured. And that's the real test. Some can follow rules inside, but outside with freedom, some fall back fast. Release isn't a finish line, it's a new problem. Inside, everything's dictated. Lights on, meals in, movement restricted. Outside there's choice, and for some, that's where things fall apart. One inmate reflects on reoffending. He followed all the rules inside, didn't fight, didn't argue, took every program offered. But 2 months after release, back in. It's not just about following orders, it's about becoming someone who can live without them. That's the difference between a good inmate and a good citizen. Officers know it. That's why they focus on transition, not just time served. They look at behaviour, mindset, long-term risk. Cell searches remain relentless. One unit gets flagged for contraband. Straws, string, improvised tools. Even the little things matter and get documented every time. Even small acts like crafting a makeshift hook become violations. Inmate explains, I just needed something to hang my towel. It's not about the hook, it's about breaking structure, about testing boundaries. He gets a warning, signs a document agreeing not to repeat the offence within 6 months. If he does, he faces harsher punishment. Officers take everything, not just dangerous items, also unofficial ones. A self-drawn image, a hidden magazine, a stack of unused staples. The reason is simple. Anything can be turned into a tool, or a weapon, or a signal. It's not just about what the item is, it's about what it could become. One officer explains how A4 paper, string and plastic are banned, not because paper is dangerous, but because it can carry hidden messages, especially in a system where gangs still exist. Symbols, codes, warnings. One inmate admits to using staple bullets to tattoo, hidden from cameras, bent into needles, tied with string, ink created from magazines or burned objects, even used toilet paper to smear the ink. Pain dulled with medication meant for diarrhea, some tattoo for identity, some for rebellion, some just out of boredom. One guy got caught, had a fresh tattoo. Officers spotted it. His release was pushed back by 21 days. 4 strokes of the cane added. He shrugs it off. This is what we do. I was part of CO Yip. We get tattoos to show we belong. The gang culture is deep. Tattoos mark status, mark rank, mark history. But in prison, they mark a target, for officers, for policies, for punishment. And that punishment is swift, no appeals, no stalling. Tattooing, weapons, contraband, extended sentences, physical discipline. Inside, everything is monitored. Everything has rules. Everything has risk. Contraband still slips through. Even with daily checks, hidden items find their way into cells, smuggled during food delivery, passed between inmates, or slipped in by housing unit attendants who've broken trust. Everyone knows the rules. But boredom is dangerous. It leads to creativity and risk. One inmate admitted it plainly, I knew it wasn't allowed, but I was bored, so I did the tattoo. The process was crude. Back turned to the surveillance camera. Book held up to block the view. Magazine staples sharpened. A string rigged to jab ink into skin. Makeshift numbing from over-the-counter meds. Another admitted to smuggling medication for trade or just to hoard. Pills hidden in toilet pipes, under fixtures, inside food. The dangers aren't just medical, they're psychological. Gang activity, improvised weapons, coded artwork, they all chip away at the order officers are trained to keep. Even harmless-looking objects become tools. A plastic container becomes a hiding place. A toothbrush shortened for safety is still examined for tampering. Origami sculptures? Not allowed. Not because they're dangerous, but because they show independence, personal identity, and sometimes covert communication. When inmates are caught with banned items, it's documented. Punishment follows, sometimes just a warning, sometimes time added to their sentence, sometimes caning. Inmates learn to adapt. They memorize the rules, then they test the edges. A fourth hook here, an extra piece of paper there, a drawing without a stamp, a photo that wasn't earned. One inmate was caught storing too many meals, bread and leftovers hoarded in the cell. Against the rules, removed immediately. Why? Could cause illness, could be used to barter, or worse, to mold contraband. Another had unauthorized drawings, no prison stamp, so they were seized. Art may seem harmless, but it's about control, discipline. Every object inside prison walls is part of a system, and the system only works if it holds. Some inmates respect that, others resist. Officers stay ready for both, because inside, rules are survival.